Yo, what's good, people? There's only 3 things running in this project, and still we got some clipping. It's, gotta respect the gazelle. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate you. Vapor Palms in the chat, and thank you to you too, Paul, for your sub. 22 months, dude. That's insane. And half a year already for Alex, too. This is amazing. Thank you, sir. I shot you an email this morning. I'll get some stuff out to you this afternoon. And let's see who's here. Tom is here first. And Paul, tuning in from sunny Maryland. It is bright gray Portland today. Saf, good afternoon to you. Bunch. Salutations. How are ya? DJ Empirical, yo. Welcome in. Thanks again for being on the show last week. Good to see your face. Andrew Jack the Gay Baguette, thank you for being here. Roku's here. What's up, dude? How are you, brother? How's the documentary? You surviving over there? Happy hump day indeed. Happy hump day. And Javar, Scruffy Rico's here. Our crew is here. All right, so we have some stuff to take care of because I haven't been on in a week. Let me just turn this down. And let's talk through a couple things really quick. We've got, instead of a new sound pack for all subscribers this month, I want everyone to just pick out a pack that they want. I know I haven't released anything officially in some time, but go pick out a pack. If there are things that you know that I have that are not up there, message me. And if you have everything, and you want something else, like a pack from my Sound Freaks label or something, we can do that. But I want to change it up this month. We talked last week about doing some different stuff in the community challenge and opening it up to the entire community instead of just subscribers. And there are a few different concepts that I want to play with. So we might actually do something slightly different from one month to the next for the next 3 months, so we can kind of sort this out together. But the first one that I'll present you with today is a thematic challenge. You guys will be required to use at least one of these sounds that I'm throwing at you, and you guys will help pick out some of these sounds, and we'll package them up, and we'll post them to the Discord. We'll keep them on an online drive so people can download them throughout the month, and we'll put a little command in the chat so everyone can just trigger the link really quickly. And we'll just circulate those sounds and the concept of the challenge to everyone in the community. You can invite people from outside if you like. And I haven't figured out all the voting stuff yet, but we've got a few weeks before we get there. So I'll figure all that out, hopefully by the end of the week. Maybe by Monday at the latest, and then post the details for that in the Discord, so everybody's on the same page about what's going to happen and everything. So the first theme is nature, but these are not going to be things that I've recorded or made. We're going to go to, I've already grabbed the first 10. We're going to grab a few more together as a group. Because I want to throw some weird, wacky curveballs in there too. So the first theme, and it's a very loose theme, is just nature. So quite literally anything in nature, as long as it's not like intentionally offensive to anyone, then I'm probably gonna just be okay with it. So anything in the realm of nature, I've grabbed some really commonplace stuff already, and I'll play some of those for you here. You guys will be free to use whatever instruments you like and create whatever kind of genre you like. This is not at all about controlling what you guys are creating. This is more just about seeing what you guys cook up when you have just like one little file in your whole track that's not yours. Anyway, so these first 10 nature sounds, and I'm going to leave the file names as is so we know who uploaded these sounds originally on Freesound. We can give them a shout out. If you use one of the sounds from someone, you can always go and leave a comment on their Freesound page, on the page where the sound was downloaded from, and let them know that it was used in a track or whatever, and link to it, get some more traffic, stuff like that. All right, so without further ado, here are the 10 sounds that I've selected. And remember, anything in nature goes. Like if we want to find like, I don't know, a walrus grunt or something like that, then we can do that. So this is just a recording by the sea. A little conversation.
ya no, pero antes todas las matanzas se dio su pica de niño por la mañana. Yeah. Madre.
Okay, and this one is just an open field around dusk in the summer. Goldfishes and tsunamis. Nice, Tom. Oh, dude, DJ Empirical. I want to know more about this AI Discord. All right, this next one is a calm morning outdoor ambience. This next one is rain and thunder. And while we're doing this, I just kind of want to make sure that everyone understands that the emphasis on this is really just community. I want them to be community source sounds. I want the whole community to participate in the monthly challenge rather than just the subscribers. I think that we'll get a pretty wild and diverse range of selections. All right, so this is just a general rain atmosphere. There's a little bit of traffic out there. This is just a babbling creek. Hey, 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 Andremia. Welcome in, homie. How are you? Some footsteps on grass. Just general rain without any city sounds or talking or anything. Little robin bird song. And some up close and personal recordings of some waves at the beach. So those are the first 10 sounds. And we can add to this, and we can continue to add to it throughout the month. As I was saying, we'll keep a live online drive, and we'll link to it, and we'll share that link in the chat several times each live stream, so you guys can go check out and see if there's new stuff or whatever. So again, this month's challenge is, the theme is nature. Okay, so you're going to have to use one sound from nature. It can be any sound, and we're going to provide a whole bunch from the community. If you're willing, add your own sounds to it as well. To the community drive to kind of bulk up the number of sounds that people have to choose from. But the idea here is that there's got to be at least one sound from nature. In whatever your submission is this month, there are no other requirements, restrictions, boundaries, anything like that. So you can produce whatever kind of genre you like. You can produce a 10-second piece or a 10-minute piece. 10 minutes. If everybody produces a track 10 minutes long, we're going to be here a while on listening day. Maybe we should set a 5-minute listening cap. All right, so that is the thing. If you guys have requests for sounds right now, throw them up, and we'll go find them. It's called Midjourney. You have to be invited by a subscriber. Okay. Already used it to make cover art for the single where I sampled the salt mine documentary. Oh, let's see this picture. Oh, dude, this looks awesome. So you basically provide a couple of parameters, and then the AI just does its thing, huh? There are so many cool AI-driven image creating tools emerging right now. They're just absolutely incredible. I like this one. I like it. It's good stuff. The Real Yeah Nation, welcome in. Happy hump day to you. Well, of course you'll add text. That's awesome, dude. That's so freaking cool. So how do the invites work? You included Ansel Adams and Monochrome. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Oh, okay. So the Real Yeah, hit the Discord, and there's a channel in there called Public Feedback, and we'll get started on that in just a moment here. Definitely drop your link now. It tends to get pretty busy. Dremia, Unreal Engine making procedural lo-fi. Rest in peace, music producers. Nah, not yet. Not yet. What's this Real Yeah? You're confused. You want the permissions for your song and your form? No, no, man. If you want feedback, drop a link to whatever you want feedback in the public feedback channel on the Discord. That's all. Ah, sweet. Well, thank you. Let me know when you're done, and we'll get the link up for everybody. You can't agree to what? The sounds do not belong to anyone else? Well, then just don't share them there. if you have sounds that you're wanting to link to and you're like unsure of where they're from or something, then people don't know if they can actually use those in a legitimate production. You know what I'm saying? So we just ask that people that are uploading to the community drive just make sure that everything is not under any kind of restriction or copyright from anyone else. So they're free to use those things in their projects, just like any sample pack. Hey, Whiskey, how are you? Nice rhetoric, but I'm talking about the last bit are not under copyright or use restrictions. Correct. Yeah. I think you're confused. I think that no, you're not giving anyone any copyright or ownership or permission or anything. I think you've just misconstrued the entire thing, man. That's all. That's all. This community has been around for many, many years, and I make sounds for a living. I'm not gonna weasel anyone out of sounds. There's no point in it. I have millions and millions and millions. All right, so here's the deal. If you're looking for feedback on tracks, we're doing feedback today. You can drop feedback in the public feedback channel on the Discord. If you are looking to download sounds or contribute sounds to the community drive, you could do that as well. You are not giving up any copyright or ownership or anything. All right, so back to business here. All right, Real, yeah. See ya. Oh man. All right. And it's not even Monday, right? How you doing, Whiskey? Thank you, Tom. Oh yeah, yay, DJ Empirical. For all of those who don't know yet, DJ Empirical is kicking the old 9 to 5 to the curb and venturing out into the world of audio full time. Big ups to him. Alu, how's it going, man? Yeah, Alu. We just had someone come in and get all weird for a couple seconds and then peace out. 2 weeks from Friday. Nice, DJ. That's awesome. All right, so before we start feedback, Anybody got off the wall requests for this month's challenge? Nature sounds. Replacing 9 to 5 with 9 to midnight. Yeah, exactly. Ooh, a crow sound. Okay, yes, I'll say yes to that. Crow. Okay, this one's perfect. Let's go get this. Oh, it is a minute long, though. Let's see if this single... Well, that's a rooster crowing. Maybe we'll get both those. Creative Commons 0. And... we'll skip the attribution one. We'll see if there's one without... just so no one has to jump through any hoops. Ooh. Single. From a jungle. Okay, now that one's kind of cool too. All right, so we got a couple of crows. I'm not getting your sounds. I want all your crow sounds. You've already used in compositions. Javara wants a freaking challenge. Let's find a walrus. Have you used a walrus before? I don't know why walrus, but I said walrus earlier. Kwame, how you doing, homie? I am the walrus. Oh, FYI, giraffes hum to each other at 92 hertz. Hey now. Okay, well, let's see if we can find a walrus, because Javar has not used a walrus yet. Ooh, this is blending a walrus and a stork. That's awesome. Do we even have a walrus sound? We have this one where we've got some walruses basking at like a zoo or something, but it's super long. Oh, those are great. I think I might clip a couple of sounds out of this. Oh, it's under attribution. I don't want to chop up someone else's sound that is under attribution. This is just weirdness happening right now. All right, let's pick another sound. I'll put walrus on the back burner for a minute. How about a well, a stork? That was a pretty cool sound earlier. Let's find a stork. See if we can find one without as much noise. Oh man, storks are so interesting. That's cool. This is cool. Oh, this one's after it. All right, I'm gonna make a note of this one, because this one's too cool not to grab. Let's take a screen grab of this one. This is the stork beats. But I did play with a walrus sample on stream. Okay, I have done this before. It's just a one-pitch hum. That's it. They just 92 hertz all the time. Huh. Whale? No, that's not cliche at all. I mean, I've got rain and footsteps and crickets and stuff in there. Whale from Wales. That's a synth. This is awesome. Whalesex.wave. Whales in the throes of passion. The source is a piccolo flute. Let's listen to this. A lot of fake whale. These are not whale sounds. There must be a legit whale sound on. Wait, what? I recorded a dish filled with a little bit of water, then tapped it with a spoon. A cutaway. This is... Oh, that's a cool effect. Well, I'm not seeing a whale in here. I might have a decent, legitimate whale song sample, though, somewhere. Because these are all synthesized and manipulated samples. Dory. You speak whale? What's up, Skinhead89? How are you? Oh, there we go. Scruffy Rico. Find a little music or video to render. Yeah, bro. Of course you may. Let's jump over. You posted a track a few days ago. Yes, I am sorry I was not here. I missed a few streams. Living in the age of COVID, when a bunch of people get sick, nobody does anything. So if there's a bunch of people sick at school or something, then kid doesn't go to school. Yeah, everything just kind of shuts down. Still. Giraffe fights are terrifying in Dremia. Search for a lyrebird. Lyrebird. Yeah. This is during mating season, calling from the brush. Let's see if this one is a little bit better. Oh, those are cool. Oh, this one's pretty good. Attribution 4. Cool, so we got a lyre. Ooh. This one's better. And it's a 0 attribution. Okay. Anybody else have a request before we move on and start up all the feedback? And when they race, it's all neck and neck. Of course it is. Oh, man. Oh, dude. Shoe bills are crazy. We're going to click on this. If you've never seen a shoe bill. Someone showed me this like a year ago or something. And I just wondered how I went my whole life without seeing this. dinosaurs, homies. Look how big this thing is. Freaking love this. It's just incredible, right? I mean, we all know how big those palms are. Oh, it's just absolutely incredible. It just doesn't even seem possible. They're just awesome. Yeah, what a schnoz, right? Oh, man. Duck muscles, though, right? Heidi, welcome in. Yeah, cool beak indeed, Saf. Oh, Tom. Hope you get good rest. Jimmy is here. Public feedback. Oh, man. Look at all these folks that were in line, ready to go on Friday. Gebro. We'll start with you. And then Alu. Are you still here, Alu? All right, let's ditch out of this here. That was a lovely little ensemble, right? Sylvan, again. Just retooled again. All right, Gebro is first up today. Gabriel is always bringing some serious heat. Susurrus in Tenebris. Hope I got close on that one. Alu, we will circle back to you. Let us know when you're back. this is really, really nice. Alex, take care. And Will, welcome in. Everybody follow Zev Music in the chat. Shout out to Zev Music. He has just released a new EP yesterday, and it's already sitting up on top of the charts. Please feel free to spam to your heart's content, Will. All right, so Gabriel, this is awesome. I kind of want, and maybe this is just like a little bit over the top, but I feel like I want some kind of like tube saturation on the whole flippin' thing. Like bring it all down, like 3, bring it back up to that same spot, but just through some like transparent tube. I think it would sound absolutely delicious. All right, brilliant bass drone in the intro. Absolutely sets a brilliant mood. Around 22 seconds, the subs are a bit busy around the breath. And I was thinking in that intro bit, the subs might actually be a little bit heavy. They might be a little bit too loud in a couple of different spots. But in that one spot around 22 seconds around the breath. So maybe dip them down just a little bit while that busyness is happening. It'd be cool if in that segment around 50 seconds where you've got all of those whispers happening, if you were to just pick one kind of early on that has like a reverse into itself, I think it would kind of play nicely with the cool kind of breathy rhythmic stuff that you're building in there too. 119, I think the Brahm can be a little bit more prominent. 131, the vocal with it sounds like the young kid. It seems more wet than dry, and it would be kind of cool, I think, to hear just a little bit more clarity from it at just a couple like really brief moments. And then around 212, the smaller tom, or the toms or small taikos, not sure what they are in there, seem to be a little anemic compared to the really big drums. And I know they're just kind of meant to be the ticky elements, but they seemed like maybe they could use like maybe just a little like transparent overdrive on them or something. No drive added, just a little definition. Hey, Alu, excellent, you're back. Yeah, other than that, I think that this thing is just so good. Like all of these things are super nitpicky. Except for maybe the subs around the breath. I think that maybe that right there would be a little much on a really big like theater system. But other than that, I think everything here is just like nitpicky creative stuff. This is another brilliant one, dude. Freaking love your stuff. 100%. Zamerits, welcome in. Yeah, Will went out there and killed it with the rest of our team at NAMM over the weekend. So now that the feature has been introduced, really quick before we move on to the next thing, the new feature that was being teased last week, we've introduced the first fully unified and integrated royalty-free media browser directly inside of Audio Design Desk. And you'll see more from this concept in the future, like as it grows out. We're calling this a beta version right now, but it is amazing. You can quite literally log into any of your online subscription platforms directly inside of Audio Design Desk, like Epidemic or Artlist or whatever, right? And then find the sound or the music cue that you're looking for, and literally just drag it from the sidebar over to the arrangement window, and it auto tags with metadata upon import. It auto guesses all of the stuff for you. It's just absolutely brilliant. So there's finally one tool to manage all of the many different creative asset marketplaces online. So that's what New Future is. All right. Yeah, everybody loves your stuff, Gebro. Cool, cool. All right. A context-driven DAW, right? Right? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Twitch unavailable username. Thank you so much for the follow. All right, over to the Discord. Next is Alu. Back just in time. Getting back to the sounds after being busy. This one is mostly finished, still needs an outro and finishing touches. Might even need to change how it transitions to the less intense bit. Kind of like how abrupt it is, though. All right, cool. This one is called Chiptune Blast. Um, all right, so dark and grungy chiptune. I like it. Is there a prog chip genre yet? Because this is great intro. Oh, and Paul, I love this. Feels like I'm in a dryer. That's awesome. Um, I think a little bit more EQ work on the individual tracks in this one will help wrangle the low end. It just seems a little thick. It's mostly the one bass that I called out specifically at 136. Um, so maybe just a little bit more off the bottom frequencies there, and maybe some overdrive to give it like a more definitive edge and a little bit more harmonic content up high. Um, And I think that those two adjustments will probably help. The other thing is that you can create more separation in volume, stereo position, and frequency um, between several of the components that are toward the center of the mix. Um, and if it was just the bass and those drums in the center and everything else was kind of pushed out a little bit more away from center, not like all the way out on the sides, but pushed from center, I think that this thing would feel a little bit more clear and defined all the way around, which is one of the really nice things about chiptune music, right? Is that they are these very uh, like fundamentally simple um, single waveforms being used. And when we start to get really busy with stuff, we just got to remember that the rules of music production still apply and finding space and kind of stuff like that. Um, so that's how I would do that. The piano is in competition with a few of the synths. So what I would recommend is giving these things their own spotlight time, right? So the piano has obviously got a couple of spots where it's really ripping. So we can use some volume automation to bring a couple of other things down and maybe even push them a little bit further away from the piano and maybe even lift that piano up just a little bit in those moments, right? Just the same way that everyone would kind of step to the side for the guitar solo on stage kind of thing, or piano solo. So that's it. A little bit more volume automation to create change over time with the individual elements in this mix. A little bit more EQ work. I think this one's pretty solid. Pretty solid. And I think, honestly, I think that volume automation is really all you would need for the transition to the less intense bit. I think it's pretty much there, honestly, the transition. All right, so hope that jives with you. Makes sense. Helps you make it even better. All right, Stolis is up next. This is a recording that resulted in a community challenge on my channel where viewers cashed in points toward an Animal Crossing New Horizons music night. So I created the song KK Groove last night on stream as their reward. Since the arrangement is about 90% based on the original, I'm more or less looking for a little mixing feedback and less on the arrangement. Perfect. Excellent. You bet, Alu. All right, this is great. The bass is booming and it needs to be wrangled. We don't need any subs. We don't need any subs at all in this, right? So I would say roll off, and you can do it gently and go between a 36 or 24 dB per octave curve on this, but I'd cut it around 60-ish. You really don't need anything really booming in there. And then I'd use a low shelf for the rest just to attenuate. It could be as much as like 8 to 10 dB, honestly, somewhere between say like 60 and 80. So that's just going to kind of give you a more natural curved slope on its way down into those subfrequencies. So, and what that's going to help do is redistribute a lot of the power that's being used to serve up those subfrequencies. Is going to redistribute it and give the bass a bit more definition and oomph. So it's gonna come down in volume after that by probably, I don't know, 6 dB, I bet. Good place to start. Okay, so snare could use some rings, some bounce, and some reverb. Hats definitely need a little overhead mic presence. So some shared processing on the drums, but also a little bit of individual work, right? You're going to need to find a reverb that feels like it's approximately the same kind of space as the one that's being used on the horns. You're also going to need to apply that kind of space to the keys. And the keys need a little bit more definition and a better pan position, because right now, as they're playing, they're pretty buried. They're pretty buried right behind almost identical frequencies. They're popping off at the same exact time, like 95% of the time. So you're not really getting a clear picture of the keys' involvement at all in the track. So I would move those maybe even opposite where they are now. They're over on the right now. Everything else is feeling pretty good. I think just a little bit of EQ work on each one of the tracks. The other thing is just a little bit of volume automation to kind of really accent some of these call outs, like those horns in a couple of places, right? Like the more supportive stuff, maybe bring down 3 or 4 dB or something, just so you have a little bit of space to boost up. And then as it's going through its first 2 notes or so, those horns during those call outs, you can actually create a fairly short automation up. So it really sounds like an accent on those. Just the same way, that same kind of effect that you get when the horn gets swept up towards the mic, right? Like as they're being positioned, that movement is the accent itself. It calls the attention. So little things like that. In regards to volume automation. And yeah, I think most of the rest is really just the EQ work on this. Little bit of verb, and make sure that all your reverb gets EQ'd as soon as you run through your whole workflow on those. Just make sure you get an EQ on after, and you take out any of the low muddying frequencies. And a lot of these you can cut off somewhere between like 300 and 600 hertz and below in the reverb, and it's going to sound good because you're not making bass centric music here. So, and your bass is going to be filling up all that frequency space anyway. So that's what I got for you, Solis. Hope that helps. Up next is Indremia. He says, hello, feedback please, thank you. All right, this is a guitar sample, stream guitar sample, the new song from, oh, yeah, that's just the, there we go. There we go. A boy and his robot. I love it. Um, Dude, Indremia, this is great. I really, really like the vibe of this one. Um, Really, really like it. I think it'd be cool to have either a subtle delay on that kick, like almost a heartbeat style, or maybe just a subtle little ghost note chaser in that kick drum pattern, right? Like once every other bar, you get this boom, boom. Um, I think it would also be really cool to play around with some big reverb splashes on the kick in a few places to generate some atmosphere from it. And one really cool way to do that is to put some a short form delay on right at the point of impact for the note that you're wanting to like swell and create an ambience from, and quickly automate up the feedback parameter. And directly after that can be a hall reverb. So it's not going to have anything that bounces back. It's just going to be like this kind of expansive dispersal of atmosphere or ambience. And then you can just EQ out the lowest frequencies. So you're not actually hearing the kick drum. You're just hearing this kind of like off of the kick drum, right? So it'd be kind of cool in a few places just to do that. You could even put like a little tremolo on one of those reverb tails, like just one out of the whole thing, just to keep it really interesting. I think it would add this level of like organic depth to the whole thing. That would be really cool. It's a really, really solid track. I think that all the things I'm calling out are like finishing touches. 318, I love this synth. I think it needs to come down in the mix, just a couple few dB. And I'd love to hear you play with pitch on this one. Like if it could just fall out of tune, or if you could like slowly turn up the wet on a pitch shift here and there or something. I think this would be so, so neat. Um, the hat and snare, uh, the hat especially, it seems kind of static in its position and presentation. So it'd be cool to have like a filter, maybe even on the hair and the snare and the hat together, and then just do like a subtle cutoff modulation over time, like a really slow roll on that, just so it's just slightly different from 1 second to the next, right? With a fair amount of resonance on it. I think that this is one of the better ones, dude. You've got a lot of really, really good stuff. But this is it's got a really cool thing going. Twitch unavailable. Username? You don't use Discord. Are you looking for some feedback, but you don't use Discord? Is that what's going on there? Because if that's the case, you can drop a link in the chat. Yes, Heidi, always love the Andremia feels. Yeah, yeah. Scruffy Rico says, man, this one is done. Absolutely good. Love the little Prince of Persia mention up there. Alu. Yeah, you know, a lot of people really are so hesitant to play with the kick in the mix. And I think of all these memes of like, is it the right snare? I'm working on that kick still, of like people spending days on their kicks and snares, which I've never really been able to do. Um, I'm just too quick to move on to a different option. But I love playing with kicks. I love playing with like the processing on kicks and creating atmospheres and ambience and triggering things with them. You bet, Andremia. You bet. Up next, Kwame. Kwame is working on some cool stuff behind the scenes. Let's see what he's working on in this one. All right, I love this, dude. This synth in the intro, it's like immediately infectious and it's cute. It keeps it kind of light and bouncy, bubbly, something. It's unique. 20 seconds in, this bass. I think you could use just a little small reverb on it. Roll off the lows though in the reverb, so it's just It's just kind of like this widening, kind of thickening, warming effect. You know, maybe just keep the stuff that's above 500 or something and see what that does to your mix. 115, the synth on the sides is kind of distracting from the guitar riff right here in this moment, so it could come down a little bit in volume. And it also needs some low end removed, just via EQ. And I think the big takeaway on this mix in general is tighten things up with the EQ on an individual track level. So first, make sure that you're EQing after your reverb every single time. Also, even if it's just delay, EQ it. And also, even if neither of those things are on it, EQ it. There should probably just be an EQ on everything in all of the mixes, just to make sure that you're wrangling the low frequencies. Your high stuff usually seems pretty well managed. That's it. As soon as you tighten up the low end on each of the individual sounds, that bouncy quirkiness is just going to be kind of amplified. It's cute. I like this. Future lo-fi, says Andremia. Lots of poppy sounds and pink colors in this, says Saf. Very cute sci-fi game, maybe. Green Hollow Music, welcome in. Kwame says, I was trying to do something shorter, more playful. I'll definitely go through with an EQ on each track. Haven't really worked on the mix much on this. Just finished writing a bit ago. Oh yeah, dude, if you haven't even put EQ on this, then that's gonna, it's basically gonna seal the deal on this thing. Really, honestly. I didn't know you hadn't touched it yet. Scruffy Rico, you're up next. And I like the lighter, cuter thing, Kwame. It's good on you. Let's see what Rico's up to today. He says, okay, this is a video I shot of a mix of Eternity, not mastered, and Days Gone, mastered. Feel free to skip through. Also need to change the kick in Eternity. Let's do this. We're going to click through this one. We'll needle drop a little bit in this. If you guys are hearing glitches, I'm going to switch over to Firefox really quick. Just because that has been known to happen with Safari on stream at times. So we'll try it here. Is it glitching here? Much better. Okay. Well, I hope Andremia's wasn't glitching for you guys. Rico, this is awesome. It's really super smooth, like all of the transitions. Your mixing is great. The sound design is great. All the synth programming is on point. It's really, really, really tight. Your palette is really phenomenal as well. Like all of these sounds are interlocking, commingling, evolving together. It's really, um, it's quite complete, sir. It is quite complete. I'm gonna move over to how this one ends and the next one starts. And this one's a collab between Scruffy Rico and Rokusai. Oh, well, Rico and Roku, you guys continue to just absolutely slay. This is so good. This is so good. Rico, just going back to the first track, really, really dig the aesthetic overall. Just all of it. And it's good to see you up there dancing to your own work, you know? And you guys together are absolutely fantastic. It is such a good fit. It is such a good fit. I'm so glad to hear this is going to be on Roku's next release. Iron Imp, that was Scruffy Rico and Rokusai on that track. That we actually got to hear two different tracks. Yeah, what a journey indeed. Yeah. Roku Rico, you guys have it going, says Paul. Great stuff. Excellent. Britboy, welcome in. Good to have you here. Quick reminder, everyone who's subscribed to the channel this month, just find a sound pack on the store and DM me on Discord, and I'll get you a copy of that. Because love. Yeah, that was pretty awesome, right? Yeah. Beautiful momentum to it, says Iron Imp. Yeah, good stuff. All right. That was great. Absolutely superb. All right, Bilbo Men. Bill Bob Men has been absolutely crushing it recently with some stuff that we just do not ever expect. Let's see what today's is all about. 24 hours, Tatty. Or 24 hours, Tatty. Ooh. Okay, this is awesome. It's fun and it's funky. Man, I can't type apparently today. I've been playing Katamari quite a bit over the last week with the kiddo being home from school a lot. And this really fits the mood around the house over the last week, this one. Super, super funky vibe. I love the swing it's got in there. I think the bass frequencies could be wrangled a bit on your bass, the low end frequencies, just a little bit for clarity. And then it feels the whole mix kind of feels a little muffled, and I'm not sure if it is an EQ that's on the whole mix, or if there's some compression that's being ultimately triggered by something that it shouldn't be, but it feels like it's being kind of held down. And I really want like this expansive openness from a track like this. I do like the down low vibe of it. But I think that there needs to be a couple elements at least that really kind of really shine up top. Oh, Green Hollow Music, really liked your music a lot. Cloakroom feeling. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I like that. Iron Imp says, I think the leads and pads could maybe use just a little bit of mid-high lift, but it's a groove. Samsung Orange Ringtone. You've done it again. You have done it again. Roku says, love the stereo image and processing on that stab thing, whatever it is. So fresh. Oh, hey, Jafar, big ups, dude. Jafar is saying, I'm going to attempt to get a profile on Upwork finished today. Never used it before, so not sure what's going to happen, but figured it was a good place to start. If you've got questions, reach out and ask. Samsung, of course, always with the feedback. I hope that it vibes with you and helps you make it better. This a serious groove. This one, it's some good stuff. Meritz is up next, saying interested what you think of the stereo position on the bass. Take action. This image, classic. Welcome in, Storm Music. Zamaris, I was just reading this comment from Iron Imp about the imaging, and I agree. It all sounds really nice. I think it's a really awesome touch. I love the retro vibe, but it's got this kind of modern production appeal to it throughout, which I think you balanced really well. I think that the bass, like where you chose to present it and or like introduce it and what you did with it was really awesome. It was all tastefully done. Um, I think the Foley bits that come in around 22, the found sounds, I think those could be spread out to the sides a bit more, kind of surround or embrace those drums. That the drum sample's fantastic, by the way. It sounds just perfect. And I'm loving the prickly plucks spread on the far sides at 143. Um, yeah, I don't find anything wrong with the track or with the bass or what you were doing with it. Um, I hear what you're saying about the drop. You could probably make it a little bit better. Um, it might also just be a matter of a small amount of volume automation and an additional transition sound, right? Um, having a couple few of those layered up um, can also help. 400, welcome in. How you doing? Happy hump day to you. We are going to flip over to, where is my browser here? There we go. All right, so we've got one from Twitch unavailable username, which has got to be one of the more unique usernames on Twitch. But you get that a lot. All right, here we go. Samarit's saying, yeah, I think that might be enough transition and volume. Thanks for the feedback. Great as always. Dude, thank you, Samarit's. You like everything you do is gold, man. I love you. I love all the stuff that you make. You're fantastic. All right, new one. Here we go. All right, so a few things here. I love this track, and thank you for the patience. I know it took a while to get to it. It's I love the classic kind of retro game vibe in the beginning. The acid bass coming in just really kind of um, ups the ante in an entirely different way, like completely different expectations at that point. And then when the vocals come in, I feel like we're kind of being introduced to the full palette, and we're kind of understanding what direction the song is going in, which is great because we're nearly a minute into this thing, right? So there's quite a bit of growth and uh, change in the intro. So kudos there. I think a little multi-band compression on that break would go a long way. I know it's only in there for a matter of seconds, really, but sometimes it's just the way a kick drum hits when a break is first brought in, that just like makes a track. You know what I mean? So a little multi-band compression on that, just to kind of highlight the mids, um, and maybe some mid lows, but definitely some mids. Just get like a little bit more punch out of that snare and kick. I think 112 is a perfect opportunity for a small transition effect and maybe even a quick reversal of some kind as well, even if it's just like a super small like snare reversal or hat reversal or something like that. And on this point, there are a few opportunities throughout at non-transition points in the arrangement where you can add a small embellishment and it would feel great, just like a whoosh, or some kind of a like a subtle noise-based flyby or something like that. There are a couple of opportunities where it's not stale and it's not boring, it's not repetitive. There's just simply a little bit of space there, which I think is a really good place to sprinkle in something. This acid is really on point. Really on point. It's a perfect stopping point on your resonance. It's just like all the way through. It's great. 2 minutes, this transition, some kind of subtle, wavy, airy, atmospheric transition element would be great, even if it's just like a slow swell. So it's not really a definitive point of transition. It's not like there's a turnaround or a drop here, but something to kind of help push the emotional energy in this forward, I think would be great. At 225, this is another one of those moments where it's not lacking in any way, but there's this space in this very specific spot. So some high frequency elements like some metallic foley or some kind of paper crinkling or something like that would be good, just to tickle the ears a bit. It doesn't have to be, egregious or assertive in any way. This can be very tasteful and simple and ephemeral. 312, nice control and restraint on the 303. I feel like you could have gone in any direction, and I love the little riff that you ended up with here. Really good stuff. It's fun. It's got energy. It's got a nice mix. It's a good arrangement, and your palette is solid. Iron Imp really likes the ethereal lift toward the end. 400, yeah. This is what we do. This is what we do. And yeah, Iron Imp, I am an easy mark for a Wiggly 303 as well. Absolutely. Yeah, hope this vibes well with you. Help you make it better. Green Hollow, you are up. We've got we've only got a few here. We're doing great. All right. We might have a little time to find some more sounds for this month's challenge as well. Green Hollow, this one is called Desired Days. This image is wild, by the way. Mm. This is great. Really balanced. I feel like the luffs are being pushed a little for the aesthetic. Just meaning like it feels like it's being kind of forced into this position of loudness where it doesn't really need to be. I think that this would feel really good um, if the maximization was kind of backed off just a couple steps. If you did the programming on the bass synth, it's nice. I think a small amount of long form modulation on a wavetable position or, well, I'm not sure why I said detuning because this is a single voice thing, but some kind of warping or something that's going to introduce just a little bit more change over time, a little bit more movement and kind of folding kind of feeling at points, I think would be nice. The movement that it does have in it is really solid. It just leaves me wanting more. So just lean into it just a little bit more, I think. Everything else is really, really super solid in this. Let's see what other people are saying. Yes, Roku, I love the inharmonics on the right ear thing. Iron Imp says, I cranked this. It sounds really big. Yeah, it is. It's very full and very well balanced. Um, yeah, you're new to this genre. Well, you're doing fine with it. If this is your first crack at it, kudos and big ups. I think the only thing that I would really add at this point would be some more movement, specifically in that bass. I think that you're making a lot of really good choices. You've got a good ear. You're being attracted to the right kind of sounds to keep it all interesting in the palette. Interested to see where you go with this. What happens in the second part? Is it a continuation of what we've been hearing, or is there some kind of big change up drop happening next? Because I could easily see this going in either direction. I dig this. I dig it. You usually make drum and bass, okay? Yeah, so you're already in the neighborhood. Absolutely. Well, it's really good stuff. It's really good stuff. I say you chase it and bring it back when you've got a second part so we can see where you freaking take this thing. I like it. And what the hell is this art? It's awesome. It's like it's hard to even put words to. It's good stuff. Iron Imp, you are up next. Artwork. AI generated. Nice. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, Scruffy Rico says great as well. 400 says artwork is sick. All right, everybody loves this one. On to the next. Iron, you are up. Saying, here's a video of the first track I wrote in Renoise. It's fairly hot, and there's a 12-second silence at the start, so brace yourself. It's about 100 synth samples, but the mixer is all Unity. The volume was all handled via channel velocity instructions since I was focused on learning the pattern matrix commands. Oh, our man is playing with something new. We're going to go to this in the browser. Oh, wait. Hold on a second. No, we're not. We're going to do this inside of Firefox so we don't get any glitching sounds from YouTube. And we're going to take this volume down. So we don't lose our ear holes. Here we go. You guys ready for this? Yes, Amiga 500. Iron Imp winning the People's Choice Award over here right now. Square Pusher 5 for sure. Ooh. Oh, I love these scenes. Okay, now the ending here, man,
Hi,
absolutely great.
we are Woodger.
Dude, this was fantastic. This was a lot of fun. Iron Imp, thank you for sharing that one. That was so much fun. For those of you not familiar with renoise or early like MIDI sequencing, it's a trip, right? You know, I could not help but think about Phosphor, our man Phosphor Visual, and Tendrilbot while that was playing. Anybody keeping tabs on what he's up to with shows and whatnot right now? Let's read through what people are saying. Heidi went to a pinball museum last night, voted #1 in the world a month or two ago. Her niece's bestie's fam owns it and did a school fundraiser for the class yesterday. So amazing. Awesome. Very cool. Britboy says, this is the music for the hardest boss fight in the video game history. Square Pusher 5 says Green Hollow. Everybody's digging it. Amiga 500 Madness. 400's digging it. Love it. The Pinball Museum is called Next Level for those in the Pacific Northwest wanting to check it out. Pinball nightmare and boss type of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, man. Yeah, the Amiga, man. That was some good stuff. Dig Dug in it. Ah. I love it, Javar. Dig Dug. Anybody else a Qbert fan out there? Hmm. Yeah, hex values are for sure. It's a totally different world. All right. 400, you're up. I don't want to wreck this name. Asnadel, maybe? Hey man, got a weird track for you. Would love any thoughts you have on it. All right, this one is called Glurping, version 9. I love the glurp. Let's do this. Ooh. Squid Funk! Love it in Dremia. It's fantastic. Like, this is great. There's some technical stuff that we should touch on really quick. So this sounds absolutely impeccable when you release it, but it's gotta be released. Like, this is good. Couple of questions for you. What are your weapons of choice? What DAW are you using? How long have you been doing this? And is this your normal? Um, it hits. It hits really, really hard and well. It's really full. You're using a really great amount of the stereo spectrum, the large majority of the time the playhead is moving, and I really, really dig that. Um, you've obviously got a really good handle on your sound design workflows. You've got a really good handle on modulation. Absolutely. But more important than any of that, I think, is the stopping points. You're finding really, really good stopping points. You could go further in so many different directions and you don't, and I applaud you for that. This is the poop. I would recommend some small EQ work across some of the individual elements to wrangle in the lows. You have kind of a buildup of low frequencies and mid-low frequencies in a few different places. And some of that ends up translating as really impressive amounts of energy kind of surging, and some of it translates as um, this section could have greater definition, but is being held back. So what I would recommend is going through and tightening up the low end on a whole bunch of the individual elements in the busiest sections of the song. You probably don't need to go through every single track and do this. I would be kind of strategic about this. I would kind of zoom out in your arrangement window and just kind of take a look and see what are the busiest spots, and then go to work there. What else would I say about this? Be careful with compressing the lowest frequencies. I think that there is a little bit of loudness through compression happening, and it just, as long as that isn't occurring too much on your main sub element in the mix. I would also make sure that all the reverb channels are EQ'd, and that goes for any time-based effect. So if there's even just something with like a little bit of super tight delay on one of these to get a comb feedback effect, right? Something like that. Make sure that that's got an EQ on it as well, and that you're EQing out, man, probably everything under like 600 hertz, probably on a track like this in most of these elements. So everything stays really flippin' nimble, right? And 144, I just want to call this out and say, like, if someone like Skerrick had arrived on the music scene 2 years ago instead of, like 90, this is the kind of stuff that like the kind of flow and groove and stuff that we'd be hearing. There's a lot of what am I trying to say here? Performance value baked into this good production as well. So big ups. And I love the glurp form, by the way. Great displays of control and restraint throughout. Bring more. Bring more. It's good to have you in the mix. I hope you come back for more. And it would be really cool to see what you might get up to with some of our community challenges too. Oh yeah, no, the groove is really what it's all about. I mean, the sound design is impressive and the delivery of stuff is great. But without the groove, it's just another one of those really impressive tracks. With the groove, it makes it into something great. Yeah, definitely chase this one until it's done. And Dremia, we do have time. We do have time. You are welcome for the advice. I hope that it jives with you, helps you make it better. Nate, welcome in, sir. How was your stream? Happy hump day to you. Hope you've been well. Did you end up going to NAMM? And if so, did you stop by and say hi to my peeps? Hey, Blackberry's here. How you doing, homie? Dude, everybody is liking this one. Saf, have a good day, man. Thanks for hanging. Blackberry, how you feeling, man? So 400, I'm just reading your comment here. So like maybe the buildup was a bit muddy, or the drop, or all of it. No, it's not all of it. Well, no, I take that back. All of it, there is a thickness to the lows and mid lows in this track that simply does not need to be there. The bulk of the energy and impressiveness in this track is from the very core, the very center of every single one of these sounds. What you have on the fringe of every single one of these sounds is, I'm not going to say it's pointless, because it's not. Obviously, there's a lot of sound, like life force dwelling in each one of these sounds, but superfluous might be a better word for it. You don't actually need all of the frequencies that are flying around in the air right now. So you could tighten up the top and the bottom of each one of your sounds just a little bit. And I think you're probably going to be better for it. The other thing that I would put out there, I would do an A-B comparison. Like after you go through and you do all the EQ tightening, this would be a really good challenge. Go through and move up your cutoff point on your main sub channel. I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say that it's down around 30 right now. I think that this track feels better, probably somewhere between like 46 and 52. Like if you had a 36 per dB octave or per octave cut, let me just show you this instead of speak words because, you know, we have eyes. All right, so my guess is that your track looks probably something like this down low right now. And I am suggesting that you bounce, like after you do your EQ tightening, bounce the track. Then roll this bad boy up on your sub channel. Like make sure that there's absolutely nothing else in the mix. Like maybe just even on your master, right? Just add this. Maybe something like this. And then bounce that and listen to the two against each other and see which one you like more. The responsiveness and the kind of nimble nature will probably favor, or I mean, sorry, the responsiveness and nimble nature of this more aggressive low end cut is probably going to favor your mix because there's so much rapid fire change happening. There you go. And that would probably help with the clarity of the track as well. So. Oh man, Nate, all good, dude. Life gets in the way sometimes, right? Um, Blackberry, COVID is still lingering a bit, but surgery recovery is going well, although still a little weak as a little kitten. Well, I'm glad that you're okay. I'm glad that you're on the mend and that you're on your way up. As Nadell, I hope that that made sense and that the EQ feedback doesn't feel like a slap in the face or anything because it's really like the finishing touch on a track like this, I think. All right. Nate, take care. No, so 400, this is not about the amount of sub volume. This is about the actual frequency. So here's why I bring this up. Okay. Because anything under that point, hertz wise, is going to be felt, not heard. Okay. Those are also the heaviest lift frequencies in our business, right? So that space under like 60 hertz or so, it takes more energy to reproduce those frequencies than it does all of your other frequencies. So if you just eliminate those, then the energy redistribution in your track is enormous. There's a reason why when you've got a big, thick, heavy bass, why it sounds so much more powerful and punchy when you make some kind of low end cut, whether it's between like 30 and 50 hertz, it doesn't matter. As soon as you make that cut, all of a sudden, boom, that bass gets big and it's in your face, right? So just imagine that effect happening to your entire mix. Because right now, a big chunk of the energy being used to serve up your music is actually being largely used to serve up those frequencies. So there you go. Blackberry. In-person spellcasting only works in Dungeons and Dragons and only applicable to the world of one's imagination. Who else is watching Stranger Things right now? Yep. Yep. What Roku's saying here. Furiously blinking. I love the cardio party eye. I love it. Love it. Excellent. Excellent. I'm glad that makes sense. Furious blink. Oh man. Heidi is on a roll with all of these. Mm. And Roku makes a good point. It's why trance usually sounds better on vinyl because the low high end cutting that naturally comes from the pressing, because those extreme frequencies just are not present. Yeah, and the reason why I say A/B it, like do an A/B comparison of those two, is so you can hear and see for yourself the amount of influence that a small change like that can have on your music as a whole. And if you experience that yourself firsthand, and you have an opportunity to go back to it again and again, then you're probably going to make some changes in all of your production moving forward. So. Toxic, you've been watching Stranger Things 4? Yeah, me too. No spoilers. No spoilers. Just wanted to see. Stranger Things pinball. Nice. Iron Imp says another way to physically visualize it is picturing a subwoofer. If the really low end is making the speaker membrane sort of flop around, it reduces the capacity of that speaker to physically project specific resonant low tones. Yeah, don't be scared ever to cut the lows. Ever. You know, I use this a lot. Toxic, thank you. I use this a lot with people. And I used to say it about guitarists specifically when we all had to walk into a studio to get an album done, right? It was like this joke that I made, like, hey, why don't you take the guitarist out for a quick smoke break really quick? And then you guys can come back and check out the track. And meanwhile, while they were outside, you know, I'd be butchering the frequencies of the guitar to make room for other things, because it's a pretty rangy sound in a bunch of different types of music, right? But truly, you have so many other things to fill up that frequency space, right? And the felt not heard thing is it's a pretty powerful argument when you're looking to hear or be heard in a very specific way, not felt. Toxic, it's good to have you here. I'm glad you decided to stick around. Quick reminder, everyone who is currently subbed, you get to pick out your own sound pack this month instead of me just kicking down one sound pack to everyone. So go hit the store. There's a link in the Discord in the subscriber rewards channel. Just link your Twitch and Discord profiles and you'll be granted access to the subscriber rewards. Just hit the OhmLab website. Let me know what you want, and I will just hit me up in a DM on Discord, and I will fire over the sound pack to you. I know I haven't released anything official in a while, so if you guys have everything already and you want something maybe from my Sound Freaks label or something instead, we can do that. Yeah, Andremia is explaining the A/B process. Save both tracks independently from one another so you can listen to it. Roku says, I am officer of the low-end police force. If I detect subtones below 46 hertz, you will be arrested. Oh, absolutely, man. That's what a feedback stream is all about, 400. Gemtai says, yeah, I had a guy that sent me some stuff, and their engineer had just cranked everything to the max, and limiter had just mushed it to bits. The guitars sounded huge, but as soon as they went into a solo or added something more, the reverb and fret noise just turned it into a mess. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, do that, Toxic. You can also just go hit the website and just shoot me a message. Yeah. All right, so let's check out these last couple here. One is from Andremia, one's from Tremties, and we'll call it good, I think. Andremia. 2 in 1 day. Very lucky. Interstellar Communications is the name of this one. Andy, this is kind of a short one for you. This one's wild. I feel like this is like what the characters in a video game would make when you walk away from it for the night and you go to sleep. Like they just keep playing. They just make a song. Yeah, it sounds so bent. Absolutely. That's a great way to put it. Strange indeed. Yeah. Okay, so I personally I'd probably saturate that 808 and I might put an overdrive on the kick just to put a little bit of an edge on it so it kind of stands up against that 808. Otherwise, I don't really have a lot for this one. I like the kind of bent, broken feel from it. And it's kind of wild. Like just the whole feeling of it is just kind of wild. I love the visuals that you did for it. I think it was worth the time. Yeah, I'm not sure that I have much for you on this one. I would like to say that the distortion that you've got these different elements running through is really nice, though. I think you found a really nice stopping point for it. Tremtize agrees. Driver saturate the 808 just a bit. Yes, Javar says, would go well with the Love, Death, and Robots. Yeah. Yeah, down-tempo lo-fi hyperpop or something. 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 Yeah, it's good. Tremtai says, okay, so since I'm job hunting, my focus has been a little weird and went ahead and did some ear training. For some reason, I have a folder with anime speech samples, so I went ahead and figured out the patch and transcribed it to be somewhat musical. Ear training does not have to be boring. Truth. Weeb Symphony. Let's see what it sounds like. Oh my goodness. Dude, what a challenge. That was wild. That was really wild. It actually kind of sounded continuous, too. 10 out of 10. Doesn't Dremia. Treat them with respect. And more kawaii, yeah? Morning, Lisa. Ziggy gives it 12 out of 10. Okay, so people like it. Tremtai continues to reign supreme. It was the hardest part to make it flow and not just sound as different sections. No, it actually sounded, I mean, there were a couple of spots that it sounded disjointed, but like, especially the second half sounded like there was continuity there. I want a full song or you'll be fired, says Tremia. Oh, man. Music has been achieved. We've solved it. Make a 12-hour-long version so I can sleep and have this in the background, please. Oh my god. Can you just imagine what would happen to you? What kind of dreams would occur while listening to this? Oh my gosh. Right? You've run out of anime samples. Oh man. That was probably a challenge to some people in this room. I've run out of samples, guys. All right, Ziggy says, I've never made a song like this before. It's a new genre for me, trap. I enjoyed making it, and I think I will continue to make more like this in the future. All right, cool. So this one is called University of Drift, and it's a whip. Not sure about the vinyl just being brought in at the end. If it's going to be there, I think it should be there throughout, but it might be a little bit too present at the end there, level-wise. I don't even know what to call this kind of uh, trap, right? Like, it's not quite just fully drift or funk, but it's got a bit of the game in it too, right? It's got a gamer vibe to it too. It's nice. It's cool. I think the vocal element can come up. It's really kind of struggling to sit on top, and I think it would sound. It doesn't have to sit on top. I think it's a nice feeling to have it off to the side like that, but I think it can come up. And 55 seconds, maybe like a little filter modulation. Um, right here for some more interest. Um, maybe just something that kind of slowly rolls up and discloses all of the stuff after being clamped down. So I think that the 808 is booming, but the drums sound really kind of weak in comparison. So what I would do is I'd beef them up. I'd probably saturate them. You might want to run them through some shared processes, so they're all sounding and feeling the same. But I think the drums do need to come up. It just doesn't really have the impact that it should in that area. Other than that, this is sounding pretty good, especially since this is the first time that you've dipped your toes into this water. Becky's here. What's up, Beck? How you doing? How are things on your end? Tremtai says, the only thing I got here is watch your scales and give that cowbell some body. Nobody disrespects the cowbell when Tremtais is in the room. Oh no, BlackBerry. Is playback really that bad? Oh man. And I'm one of those streams that has absolutely nothing on. Like, I have no filters or anything on the audio. Dig the tunes, says Iron Amp. Word. Oh my gosh, Becky. Oh my goodness. Well, glad you made it out of there safely. What the fuck, Chuck? Maybe no more sessions with him. Old Dome, I will do one for you. Yeah, we're just wrapping it up here. Yeah, Zagella funk so much too. It's just when you throw like one more additional element in there, then what do we call it? Right? Like, if that had like, you know, like a classic 8-bit ARP running in the background or something, it would break the genre. We would have to give it a new name. We would have to. Trim ties. You don't really use cowbells. He was a lovely guy aside from that. Be safe out there, Becky. We love you. We want to keep you around. Old Dome, you bet. All right. Is your first attempt at remixing someone's track? Oh, now that is always a challenge. This is a wild image here, dude. This is like elephant or octopus. Amazing. Let's do this. Your innocent mind needs holding. I bet. Becky, I wish I could give you a hug right now. This is... I think you came in and shared your news and everybody had a reaction. So I'm sending love and vibes your way. I love elephants too, Old Dome. There are so many random facts that I have about elephants that are, in my opinion, just flippin' mind-blowing. Like, did you know that they generate these sonic booms in their gray matter up here? And they send these these like shock waves through their feet down into the ground, and they can communicate for vast distances. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, Javar. So there's I think invite only status in most of the AI art servers right now. They are fascinating. Oh yeah, there's so many different things. Like, did you know? Okay, one more thing and then I'll move on. One more thing and then I'll move on. Did you know that if they're walking, if they're out doing their thing and they come across a dead elephant, that they will stay there until they figure out what happened to that elephant, and then they pay their respects. And then, no joke, every year as they make their rounds through that area, they will now include that spot, and they take a moment each time they get to that spot. It's absolutely amazing. They carry that story with them for the rest of their lives. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. They're awesome. All right, let's do this. In Thailand? No, everywhere. I think that it is a trait that is shared across all types of elephants. Right? Right? Roku's kicking down a poem. Mad indeed. All right, this is Pinio and Loeb, Heart Thumpin', Old Ohm's D&B mix. Work in progress.
How we can random. You told me I got that. Don't need no place to stay. Long as I stay away. Please know I don't play. Flashing lights like fate. This sound all about taste. Can you hear my heart? Can you hear my heart? Can you hear my heart? Can you hear my heart?
All right, so this one's cool. I really like where you took it. The LUFS are hot, which means that the loudness is just being pushed too much, and that uh, some of the things that I would say about this mix in regards to needing to be fixed are potentially largely a byproduct of this just being driven too hard, of just too much loudness is being derived from or forced out of this. So the limiter that you're running everything through, the maximization that is occurring is just too much. There's just no distance between the highs and lows, and when you look at your waveform, you can see that. This is one of the biggest dips in the whole thing. I know it's kind of hard to see. There should just be greater distance between highs and lows, between peaks and valleys, if you will. And so this could be a little tough with remix stuff, but some of the individual elements in there I think could be more characteristically unique. Um, like if you put a little ring into that snare, instead of just being snappy, it would be snappy and have a ring to it. So it have this kind of tonal punch to it. And that kind of thing always sounds super nice with these really tight breaks. Little tiny touches like that. But again, I would encourage you to back off the maximization, the limiting here, to try to get a better sense of the volume mix in this thing. I noticed a couple people mention volume mix, but it's hard. Oh, my gamma's frozen. Weird. Let me see if I can fix that. While I'm doing that, see if I can remember what I was saying. There we go. I'm unstuck now, huh? Oh yeah, so I saw a mention of volume mix from a couple of people, but really what it comes down to is that we can't really judge the volume mix when most of the volume levels feel the same. So for what it's worth, backing off the limiting there is what's going to do that. Let's see here. What did you do? I'm frozen. Okay, so Becky is saying gain stage again, in my opinion, snare and kick not coming through. So what people are talking about with the gain staging is just go back, set everything to 0 on your mixer, on your faders, right? Figure out what your main hero is going to be in this track. If it's the kick, then make it the kick. And then everything else gets mixed around that. So bring that thing up to like neg 6, neg 8 dB, something like that, and then bring up everything under that, but do it individually. So each thing has its own volume level. And as you're doing that, give everything a place in the stereo spectrum as well. So as you're moving up in frequencies, you can kind of move out to the sides more safely. Keep the center for your kick, your vocal, your bass, right? The things that have got to be ever present. Everything else can be kind of moved around a little bit in the mix. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, look at this. Roku is offering some assistance, talking about limiting and mastering, and you should absolutely take this man up on this offer. Sounds were great. Vox sounded cool. Yep. If you're just learning, one thing to try is to mix as much as you absolutely can. This is from Blackberry Jam Studios, and he is brilliant. To mix as much as you absolutely can without using compression and limiters. Then, once you've accomplished the best mix possible, then add in the comp and limiting that you actually need. Otherwise, you can spend an entire mix chasing your own tail. And also, just remember, right, that you can use these tools. You can use these plugins as tools or effects, right? And remember, when you're using compression as a tool, what you're doing is you're taming the volume, right? You're You know, you've got a couple of peaks that are a little bit too high here and there. So you're putting in this volume automation. It's just an automated volume knob. It's just bringing it down when it gets a little too high, right? You can add gain back to that, so you can get those the levels correct, but it's not about making something louder. You bet, Oldom. You bet. Beck says, I need to limit more. I only ever limit drum groups and bass groups at a push sometimes. I don't even do that. Yeah. Yeah. You don't need to, right? Oldom says, I love getting feedback on Twitch. I've learned so much from these communities. Cheers, homie. Yeah. Yeah, same. I would so much rather treat things with saturation and stuff as I go to try to manage all the loudness and everything. 100%. All right, you guys, I will get something posted to the Discord by the end of the week about this month's community challenge. Just know that you can get started making some stuff right now. There are no limitations on genre or anything like that. The requirement for the challenge this month will be to use at least one element from nature. And we did start grabbing sounds for that today. I think we were up to like a dozen or so. I will get a link posted to those sounds. You can also source your own nature sounds, but the monthly challenge is also going to be open to the entire community this month and not just subscribers. So please feel free to invite friends and whatnot. And squirrel. You are welcome, Jafar. Hey, let's go raid someone really quick. Don't go anywhere. Let's go give this love to someone else. Keep the party going. You guys are all awesome. We're going to do another feedback stream on Friday. I wanted to do an extra one this week just because I've been missing you. Let's see who's here. Looks like Mr. Sketty just fired up a stream. We could go say hi to him. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you again on Friday. Bring your links and drop them early in the Discord to get in line because Fridays get a little crazy, as many of you already know. And I will see you then. Stay inspired. Go make something awesome. Peace out, y'all.
Assemble. There we go. Best race on Twitch. Disney, please don't sue me.